What if I told you that some of the most powerful anti-aging substances on this planet aren't sitting on pharmacy shelves or locked inside expensive serums, but growing wild on mountainsides, in forgotten forests, and in the backyards of villages where people routinely live past 100? Most people don't know this, but while we're all chasing the latest retinol cream or collagen peptide supplement, entire civilizations built their longevity on plants that modern medicine has barely glanced at. We spend billions every year on synthetic compounds designed to mimic what nature has been perfecting for millennia. And the real tragedy is that most of these plants are slipping toward extinction before science even has a chance to fully understand them. Stick around, because number 17 on this list is a plant so revered in ancient China that its name literally translates to the black-haired Mr. He, and modern research shows it can reactivate dormant hair follicles and stimulate melanin production at the genetic level. And number 20 is a vine from the mountains of southern China that scientists believe is directly responsible for creating one of the highest concentrations of centenarians ever recorded. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we post new videos every week that pull back the curtain on the natural world's best-kept secrets, the ones the mainstream wellness industry doesn't want competing with their profit margins. So let's get into it. Here are 20 rare plants that will slow down aging, ranked from remarkable to absolutely miraculous. Number 1. Calendula, the battlefield bloom. Most people walk right past calendula in garden centers without a second thought. It looks ordinary, almost too cheerful, but this bright orange flower has been saving skin for centuries. Roman soldiers packed Calendula officinalis petals into their wound kits. Medieval battlefield surgeons applied Calendula poultices to prevent infection and speed the healing of torn skin. During the American Civil War, field doctors used it when proper medical supplies ran out, and they noticed something surprising. Soldiers whose wounds were treated with calendula scarred less. Their skin healed smoother, tighter, younger looking. Modern science has caught up with what those battlefield surgeons observed with their own eyes. Calendula is rich in triterpenoids, particularly faradiol, which research confirms reduces inflammation and stimulates collagen synthesis. Studies on human fibroblast cells show that calendula extract accelerates wound closure and promotes the production of type 1 collagen, the structural protein that keeps skin firm and elastic. The flowers are also loaded with lutein and beta-carotene, powerful antioxidants that neutralize the free radicals responsible for premature aging. Here's how it was used in traditional European herbalism. Calendula infusions were applied as face washes to brighten dull skin. Midwives used calendula salves for stretch marks. Monks in medieval monasteries grew it specifically for lip and hand balms during harsh winters. It fell out of mainstream awareness for a simple reason. Calendula is easy to grow, impossible to patent, and costs almost nothing. There's no profit margin in a flower anyone can cultivate in a windowsill pot, so it got quietly replaced by proprietary peptide complexes that do the same job at 50 times the price. Think of calendula as the quiet medic that never left the field, still healing, still protecting, just waiting for you to pick it. Number 2. Rosemary, the memory keeper. You probably have rosemary in your spice rack right now, but here is what you probably don't know. Ancient Greek students wore rosemary garlands during examinations because they believed the herb sharpened memory and focus. That wasn't superstition. They were onto something profound about aging and the brain. Rosmarinus officinalis, now reclassified as Salvia rosmarinus, contains a compound called carnosic acid. Recent research published in neuroscience journals shows that carnosic acid activates a protective pathway in the brain called the NRF2 pathway, which shields neurons from oxidative damage, one of the primary drivers of age-related cognitive decline. Another compound, rosmarinic acid, has demonstrated the ability to inhibit the enzyme elastase, which breaks down the elastin that keeps skin supple. Traditional use included burning rosemary in sick rooms across Renaissance Europe to purify the air. Hungarian Queen Elizabeth reportedly used a rosemary-infused tonic called Hungary water as a rejuvenating face wash well into her 70s, and contemporary accounts described her as looking decades younger than her age. Rosemary was sidelined because it was too common. When something grows in every Mediterranean garden, it's hard to sell as a breakthrough ingredient. The pharmaceutical industry needs scarcity and complexity to justify premium pricing. Think of rosemary as the professor who's been teaching the same brilliant lesson for centuries while everyone chases the newest seminar. Number 3. Gotu kola, the tiger's medicine. In the jungles of Sri Lanka, local herbalists noticed something fascinating. When Bengal tigers were wounded, they rolled in patches of a small, fan-shaped plant until their wounds closed. The plant was Centella asiatica, known commonly as Gotu kola, and it became one of the most important healing herbs in Ayurvedic medicine. For over 3,000 years, practitioners used gotu kola as a brain tonic, a wound healer, and a longevity herb. In traditional Sri Lankan medicine, a single leaf a day was said to preserve youth. Chinese herbalist Li Qingyuan, whose purported lifespan became legendary, reportedly consumed gotu kola regularly. Modern science confirms that gotu kola contains triterpenes, specifically asiaticoside and madecassoside, that stimulate type 1 collagen production. Clinical studies show it strengthens the walls of blood vessels, improving microcirculation to the skin. Research on human dermal fibroblasts demonstrates that gotu kola extract boosts antioxidant enzyme activity and protects cells from ultraviolet radiation damage, one of the primary accelerators of skin aging. Traditional use included applying crushed leaves to burns, scars, and surgical wounds. In Ayurveda, it was brewed into a tea believed to enhance meditation and slow the mental fog of aging. Gotu kola got overshadowed by ginkgo biloba, which had better marketing and more commercial backing in the supplement industry. Meanwhile, gotu kola sat quietly in the undergrowth, doing everything ginkgo does and more. Think of it as the jungle's own anti-aging clinic, open for 3,000 years and still accepting patients. Number 4. Schisandra, the 5-flavor berry. Imagine a single berry that tastes sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and pungent all at once. That's Schisandra, and in traditional Chinese medicine, a plant that touches all 5 flavors is believed to nourish all 5 major organ systems. Schisandra chinensis has been used for over 2,000 years as a supreme tonic in Chinese and Russian folk medicine. Siberian hunters chewed dried Schisandra berries on long expeditions because the fruit sharpened their vision, reduced hunger, and fought fatigue. Russian cosmonauts reportedly used Schisandra preparations to enhance endurance and focus during space missions. During World War II, Soviet pilots took Schisandra extract before night missions to improve their visual acuity. Research shows that Schisandra contains a unique class of compounds called lignans, particularly Schisandrin B, which activates the body's own antioxidant defense system by upregulating glutathione, one of the most important molecules for cellular detoxification and anti-aging. Studies in animal models demonstrate that Schisandra extract protects liver cells from oxidative damage and can reduce markers of biological aging. Traditional preparation involved drying the berries and steeping them in wine or hot water as a daily restorative tonic. Women in imperial Chinese courts used Schisandra-infused face washes to maintain luminous, youthful skin. It faded from Western awareness because it doesn't grow well outside of East Asia, and its complex flavor profile made it unmarketable as a standalone supplement in a culture that prefers simple, sweet-tasting products. Think of Schisandra as the multi-tool of the plant kingdom. 5 functions in one tiny package, engineered by evolution for total body defense. Number 5. Amla, the ancient vitamin balm. In the forests of northern India, a small, unremarkable green fruit has been quietly outperforming every synthetic vitamin C supplement on the market for thousands of years. Amla, the Indian gooseberry, known scientifically as Philanthus amblica, is one of the 3 fruits in the legendary Ayurvedic formula Triphala, considered the cornerstone of rejuvenation medicine. Ancient Ayurvedic texts describe Amla as the nurse, because it nourishes every tissue in the body. Hindu mythology associates Amla with Dhanvantari, the physician of the gods, who is said to have wept tears of joy when he received this fruit, and those tears became the Amla tree. Modern analysis reveals that Amla contains one of the highest natural concentrations of vitamin C of any fruit on Earth, along with a remarkable suite of polyphenols, including gallic acid and ellagic acid. Research shows that these polyphenols are exceptionally stable, meaning the vitamin C in Amla remains bioavailable far longer than synthetic ascorbic acid. Studies demonstrate that Amla extract inhibits the enzyme hyaluronidase, which degrades hyaluronic acid in the skin, effectively preserving the skin's natural moisture barrier and plumpness. Traditional use included eating fresh Amla daily, preparing Amla oil for the hair to prevent graying, and brewing Amla paste into rejuvenating face masks. Amla lost ground in the West because synthetic vitamin C tablets were cheaper to mass-produce and easier to standardize. Why import a perishable fruit from India when you can press ascorbic acid into a pill? The problem is, the pill misses all the synergistic polyphenols that make Amla so effective. Think of it as nature's multivitamin, except it actually works the way we wish multivitamins did. Number 6. Sea buckthorn, the Himalayan survivor. High in the Himalayas, where ultraviolet radiation is extreme and temperatures swing wildly, A thorny shrub clings to rocky slopes and produces clusters of blazing orange berries that contain one of the most complete nutritional profiles of any plant ever analyzed. Hippophae rhamnoides, sea buckthorn, has been used in Tibetan medicine for over 1,000 years, and Tibetan texts refer to it as the holy fruit of the Himalayas. Genghis Khan's armies reportedly fed sea buckthorn berries to their warhorses to keep them strong during grueling campaigns. Ancient Greek texts suggest that even the legendary winged horse Pegasus grazed on its leaves, and the plant's Latin name, hippophae, literally translates to shining horse. Research confirms that sea buckthorn oil is uniquely rich in omega-7 fatty acids, specifically palmitoleic acid, which is one of the building blocks of healthy skin. It is also packed with carotenoids, tocopherols, and over 190 bioactive compounds. Clinical studies on burn patients show that sea buckthorn oil accelerates skin regeneration and reduces scarring. Research on its seed oil demonstrates significant improvements in skin hydration and elasticity. Tibetan healers traditionally applied sea buckthorn oil to frostbite, sun damage, and battle wounds. Nomadic peoples drank the juice to ward off scurvy and fatigue during long winters. It remained obscure in the West because it grows in rugged, inaccessible terrain, and the berries are notoriously difficult to harvest. The thorns that protect the fruit also discourage commercial cultivation. Think of sea buckthorn as the armored vault of the plant world, impossible to crack open easily, but loaded with treasure inside. Number 7. Astragalus, the shield root. In traditional Chinese medicine, few herbs carry more weight than astragalus. Known as huang qi, meaning yellow leader, Astragalus membranaceus has been prescribed by Chinese herbalists for over 2,000 years as a foundational qi tonic, a substance believed to strengthen the body's vital energy and defensive barriers. The legendary Chinese physician Sun Simiao, often called the King of Medicine, who reportedly lived to be over 100 years old in the 7th century, considered astragalus essential to his longevity formulas. What makes astragalus particularly fascinating to modern researchers is a compound called cycloestrogenol. Studies show that cycloestrogenol activates telomerase, the enzyme responsible for maintaining the protective caps on your chromosomes called telomeres. As we age, telomeres shorten, and shortened telomeres are directly associated with cellular aging and disease. Research published in immunology journals demonstrates that astragalus extract can enhance immune cell function in aging adults by supporting T-cell activity. Traditional use included simmering sliced astragalus root in bone broths and soups throughout winter to build resilience against illness. It was also combined with ginseng in tonic formulas, designed to restore vitality after prolonged illness. Astragalus was overlooked in the West because its benefits are preventive rather than dramatic. It doesn't relieve a headache in 20 minutes. It builds resilience over months. In a culture addicted to instant results, slow-acting protective herbs don't make headlines. Think of astragalus as the invisible force field you didn't know your body needed, quietly extending the lifespan of every cell it touches. Number 8. Tulsi, the sacred shield. In India, nearly every household has a tulsi plant growing near the front door. It's not there for decoration. Ocimum tenuiflorum, holy basil, is considered the earthly manifestation of the goddess Lakshmi, and families tend to it with the same reverence they bring to prayer. For over 5,000 years, Tulsi has been Ayurveda's most versatile adaptogen. Ancient Vedic texts describe Tulsi as a plant that promotes longevity and sustains life. During epidemics, Ayurvedic physicians prescribed Tulsi tea as a broad-spectrum protective tonic. In traditional Indian households, Tulsi leaves were chewed daily, added to food, or brewed into teas believed to keep illness, stress, and premature aging at bay. Modern research confirms that Tulsi is extraordinarily rich in ursolic acid, rosmarinic acid, and eugenol, compounds with powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. Studies show that Tulsi extract reduces cortisol levels, and chronically elevated cortisol is one of the major accelerators of biological aging. Research on human subjects demonstrates that Tulsi supplementation improves sleep quality, reduces anxiety, and enhances cognitive function, all factors that directly influence how quickly we age. Traditional use included applying Tulsi paste to the skin for blemishes, brewing the leaves into teas for respiratory health, and using the seeds soaked in water as a cooling summer drink. Tulsi was marginalized in Western wellness because it was categorized as a spiritual plant, rather than a medicinal one, and its religious associations made it seem unscientific to researchers who might otherwise have studied it decades earlier. Think of Tulsi as the guardian standing at the door, protecting you not from intruders, but from the silent erosion of time itself. Number 9. Tremella, the beauty mushroom. This one isn't technically a plant, but it grows like one and it deserves its place on this list. Tremella fusiformis, the snow fungus, looks like a translucent, ghostly flower blooming from dead wood. In imperial China, it was prized more than gold as a beauty secret of the aristocracy. Yang Guifei, one of the 4 legendary beauties of ancient China and a consort of the Tang dynasty emperor, reportedly credited her luminous complexion to daily consumption of tremella soup. For over 1,000 years, only the wealthy had access to tremella. It was a luxury reserved for empresses and concubines who understood that beauty wasn't about covering imperfections, but about feeding the skin from within. Research reveals that tremella produces polysaccharides with a molecular structure remarkably similar to hyaluronic acid. Studies demonstrate that tremella polysaccharides can hold nearly 500 times their weight in water, matching or exceeding the moisture retention capacity of synthetic hyaluronic acid. In vitro studies show these polysaccharides also inhibit melanin overproduction and support fibroblast proliferation, the cells responsible for producing collagen and elastin. Traditional preparation involved simmering dried tremella for hours into a thick, gelatinous soup, sweetened with jujube dates and goji berries, and consumed nightly before bed. Tremella faded from awareness because the Western skincare industry had already invested heavily in synthetic hyaluronic acid production. Admitting that a mushroom could do the job better would have undermined billions in product development. Think of tremella as nature's hyaluronic acid, except it comes wrapped in centuries of imperial beauty wisdom. Number 10. Rhodiola rosea, the golden root, high above the tree line, where almost nothing survives. A succulent plant with a rose-scented root clings to Arctic cliffs and Siberian rock faces. Rhodiola rosea, the golden root, has been one of the most closely guarded secrets of Nordic and Russian folk medicine for centuries. Viking warriors consumed rhodiola to increase their physical strength and mental endurance before raids. The ancient Greeks documented it in 77 AD, and it has been used continuously ever since. Soviet military scientists classified rhodiola research during the Cold War, studying it as a performance enhancer for cosmonauts, Olympic athletes, and special forces soldiers. For decades, rhodiola was a state secret. Modern science has revealed why. Rhodiola contains salidroside and rosavins, compounds that activate longevity genes including SIRT1 and AMPK, the same pathways triggered by caloric restriction, one of the most well-established methods for extending lifespan. Research at the University of California, Irvine demonstrated that rhodiola extended the lifespan of fruit flies by up to 25% through mechanisms independent of dietary restriction. Clinical studies in humans show that rhodiola significantly reduces cortisol levels, combats mental fatigue, and protects endothelial cells, the cells lining blood vessels, from oxidative damage. Traditional use in Siberian villages involved brewing the dried root into a tea consumed daily during the long, brutal winters. Scandinavian herbalists prescribed it for depression, fatigue, and poor circulation. Rhodiola remained obscure because it is extremely difficult to cultivate. It grows slowly, in hostile terrain, and the root must be harvested at specific altitudes to contain therapeutic concentrations of its active compounds. Mass production was nearly impossible. Think of rhodiola as the survivor that teaches your cells to survive, a plant forged by the harshest conditions on Earth, passing that resilience directly to you. Now, if you're finding this valuable, and you're starting to realize just how much anti-aging wisdom has been hiding in plain sight, growing in forests, on mountainsides, and in monastery gardens for thousands of years, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button right now. It helps this video reach other people who are ready to take their health into their own hands instead of waiting for the pharmaceutical industry to catch up with what healers have known for millennia. And if you haven't subscribed to The Garden Path yet, click that subscribe button and ring the bell. We're building a community of people who refuse to accept that aging has to mean decline, people who believe the answers have always been right here in the natural world, and I'd love to have you as part of it. All right, let's keep going because we're just getting to the really amazing ones. Number 11. Reishi, the mushroom of immortality, another fungus that earns its place among plants. In China, Ganoderma lucidum has been called lingji, the mushroom of immortality, for over 2,000 years. Ancient Taoist monks consumed reishi as part of their quest for spiritual enlightenment and physical transcendence. In classical Chinese art, reishi appears more frequently than almost any other natural symbol, often depicted in the hands of gods and sages. During the Han Dynasty, reishi was so rare and valuable that only emperors could legally possess it. Foragers who found wild reishi in the forest were required to surrender it to the imperial court. Research shows that reishi contains over 400 bioactive compounds, including triterpenoids called ganoderic acids, and a unique class of polysaccharides called beta-glucans. Studies demonstrate that reishi polysaccharides enhance immune function by activating natural killer cells and macrophages. Research published in Aging and Disease journals shows that reishi extract can regulate DNA methylation in aging models, a key epigenetic mechanism involved in how quickly cells deteriorate over time. Traditional preparation involved simmering thin slices of dried reishi in hot water for hours, creating a bitter, woody tea consumed daily. It was also ground into powder and mixed with honey. Reishi fell out of common use because wild specimens became increasingly rare, and for centuries, nobody could figure out how to cultivate it reliably. By the time cultivation methods were perfected in the 1970s, Western medicine had moved on to antibiotics and synthetic drugs. Think of reishi as the emperor's secret that finally escaped the palace walls, an ancient technology for longevity now available to everyone. Number 12, Moringa, the miracle tree. In the dry, unforgiving soil of sub-Saharan Africa and the Indian subcontinent, a tree grows so fast and produces so much nutrition that the World Health Organization has called it one of the most nutrient-dense plants ever discovered. Moringa oleifera was revered in ancient Egypt, where its oil was placed in pharaohs' tombs to nourish them in the afterlife. The ancient Greeks and Romans imported moringa oil for perfume and skincare. Every part of the moringa tree is usable. Leaves, seeds, bark, flowers, and roots have all been consumed or applied medicinally across dozens of cultures for thousands of years. Research confirms that moringa leaves contain all 9 essential amino acids, a rarity in the plant kingdom. They are packed with quercetin, a powerful antioxidant that studies show inhibits the glycation process, a chemical reaction where sugar molecules bond to proteins and accelerate tissue aging. Moringa also contains chlorogenic acid, which research demonstrates helps regulate blood sugar, and chronically elevated blood sugar is one of the fastest routes to premature aging. Traditional use included grinding the leaves into powder and adding them to porridges, soups, and teas. In Ayurveda, moringa root was used as an anti-inflammatory, and the seed oil, called ben oil, was prized for moisturizing aging skin. Moringa was dismissed in the West because it grew in developing countries and was associated with poverty rather than luxury. Marketing a poor man's tree as a premium health product didn't appeal to the supplement industry until very recently. Think of moringa as the tree that feeds, heals, and protects, asking nothing in return but a little sunlight and dry earth. Number 13, goji berry, the crimson jewel. For over 2,000 years, tiny red berries from the Lycium barbarum plant have been a cornerstone of Chinese longevity medicine. According to legend, the herbalist Li Qingyuan, who lived in the Qing dynasty and became famous for his reported extreme age, consumed goji berries daily as part of his life-extending regimen. In traditional Chinese medicine, goji is classified as a superior herb, meaning it can be taken long-term without side effects. Himalayan villagers have consumed goji berries for generations, steeped in tea, added to rice porridge, or eaten raw off the vine, and these communities are consistently noted for unusually long, healthy lifespans. Modern analysis shows that goji berries contain unique polysaccharides, specifically Lycium barbarum polysaccharides, that research confirms stimulate the production of human growth hormone from the pituitary gland. Studies on aging populations show that goji supplementation increases levels of superoxide dismutase and reduces markers of oxidative stress. They're also rich in zeaxanthin, a carotenoid that protects the eyes from age-related macular degeneration. Traditional use included adding dried goji berries to soups, teas, and tonic wines. They were also combined with chrysanthemum flowers in an eye health tea consumed daily by scholars and monks. Goji experienced a brief surge of Western popularity in the 2000s, but it was marketed as a trendy superfood rather than a serious medicinal plant, which diluted its credibility when the fad passed. Think of goji as the tiny ember that keeps the flame burning, a small daily investment that compounds into decades of cellular protection. Number 14. Turmeric, the golden healer. Almost everyone has heard of turmeric by now, but most people are using it wrong and almost nobody appreciates the full scope of what this rhizome can do for aging. Curcuma longa has been central to Ayurvedic medicine for over 4,000 years. In ancient India, it wasn't just a spice, it was a sacred substance. Brides were anointed with turmeric paste before weddings, not only for beauty, but because it was believed to purify the body and slow the passage of time. The compound responsible for turmeric's golden color is curcumin, and its anti-aging properties are staggering. Research shows that curcumin modulates over 100 molecular targets within cells. Studies demonstrate that it inhibits NF-κB, a master inflammatory switch linked to virtually every age-related disease, from Alzheimer's to cardiovascular disease. Research in aging models shows curcumin can extend lifespan by reducing chronic low-grade inflammation, the phenomenon scientists now call inflammaging. Here's how it was traditionally used. Ayurvedic practitioners mixed turmeric with black pepper and warm ghee or coconut oil. This wasn't arbitrary. Modern science confirms that piperine in black pepper increases curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%, and fat-soluble delivery enhances bioavailability. Ancient healers figured out the biochemistry through observation centuries before anyone owned a microscope. Turmeric was overlooked as medicine in the West because it was classified as a cooking spice. Nobody takes a spice rack seriously as a pharmacy. That categorical error cost Western medicine decades of potential research. Think of turmeric as the golden key that unlocks your body's own anti-inflammatory defense system, but only if you use it the way the ancients taught. Number 15. Ashwagandha, the strength of horses. The name itself tells you what this plant does. Ashwagandha translates from Sanskrit as the smell of a horse, not because of its aroma, though the root does have a distinctive earthy scent, but because it was traditionally believed to grant the vitality and strength of a horse. Withania somnifera has been a pillar of Ayurvedic Rasayana medicine, the branch dedicated specifically to rejuvenation and anti-aging, for over 3,000 years. In ancient India, ashwagandha was given to the elderly to restore lost vigor, to children to build resilience, and to warriors preparing for battle. It was considered so fundamental to health that its absence from a healer's apothecary was unthinkable. Here is what research now proves, and this is remarkable. A study published in Advances in Bioscience and Biotechnology found that ashwagandha root extract enhanced telomerase activity by approximately 45% in human cell lines. Telomerase is the enzyme that maintains telomere length, and telomere shortening is one of the most well-established biological markers of aging. Separately, clinical studies show that ashwagandha reduces serum cortisol levels by nearly 28% after 60 days of supplementation. Since chronically elevated cortisol accelerates cellular aging, this cortisol-lowering effect is itself a powerful anti-aging mechanism. Additional research demonstrates improvements in muscle strength, sleep quality, and cognitive function in older adults. Traditional use included simmering the root in warm milk with honey and a pinch of cardamom, consumed before bed to promote deep, restorative sleep. Ashwagandha was marginalized in Western medicine because Ayurveda as a whole was dismissed as folklore for most of the 20th century. By the time researchers took it seriously, the pharmaceutical industry had already cornered the market on sleep aids and anti-anxiety medications. Think of ashwagandha as the root that rewinds your cellular clock, not by adding time, but by stopping the mechanisms that steal it. Number 16. Bacopa, the memory vine. In the marshy wetlands of India, a small, creeping herb with delicate white flowers has been enhancing human cognitive longevity for centuries. Bacopa monnieri, known as Brahmi in Ayurvedic medicine, was named after Brahma, the Hindu god of creation, because it was believed to open the doorway to higher consciousness and protect the mind from the erosion of time. Ancient Vedic scholars consumed bacopa before marathon memorization sessions, committing entire sacred texts to memory. The herb was considered essential preparation for anyone engaged in serious intellectual work. Research confirms that bacopa contains bacosides, compounds that enhance the transmission of nerve impulses by modulating acetylcholine, serotonin, and dopamine activity. Clinical trials in older adults show that bacopa supplementation significantly improves memory acquisition, attention, and cognitive processing speed. Studies also demonstrate that bacosides possess potent antioxidant activity in the hippocampus, the brain region most vulnerable to age-related shrinkage. Traditional use included grinding fresh bacopa leaves into a paste mixed with ghee and consuming it every morning. It was also infused into oils for scalp massage, believed to nourish the brain through the crown of the head. Bacopa was eclipsed by synthetic nootropics and pharmaceutical cognitive enhancers that offered faster, more dramatic short-term effects. The fact that bacopa requires 6 to 12 weeks of consistent use to show results made it a hard sell in a culture of instant gratification. Think of bacopa as the librarian who never retires, quietly organizing and protecting your memories while the rest of the world rushes by. Number 17. Hishowu, the root of reversal. Here is the plant I told you about at the beginning, the one whose name literally means the black-haired Mr. He. According to Chinese legend, a sickly old man named Mr. He was stranded during a famine and forced to eat the root of a wild vine nobody had previously consumed. Over the following months, his gray hair turned black again, his vitality returned, his complexion brightened. He fathered a son at an advanced age and went on to live an extraordinarily long life. That plant was Polygonum multiflorum, and it became one of the most prized longevity tonics in all of traditional Chinese medicine. For over 1,000 years, Hishowu, also known as Foti, has been prescribed as a supreme rejuvenation herb, specifically targeting the liver and kidneys, which Chinese medicine considers the root organs of aging. It was classified as a Jing tonic, meaning it nourishes the deepest reserves of life force. And here's where it gets truly fascinating. Modern research shows that he shu wu extract contains a compound called tetrahydroxystilbene glucoside, a stilbene structurally related to resveratrol, but with distinct biological activities. Studies demonstrate that this compound promotes hair growth by activating FGF7 gene expression, which encodes proteins critical for follicle cell growth. Research confirms that the extract stimulates melanin synthesis by activating the MC1R receptor pathway, offering a scientific explanation for the legendary reversal of gray hair. In one clinical study, 91% of male participants and 87% of female participants reported improvement in hair conditions after 1 month of treatment. Traditional preparation is crucial. Raw he shu wu has very different properties from the processed form. Traditional herbalists steamed the root with black bean juice for hours, sometimes days, transforming its chemical profile from a strong laxative into a gentle, nourishing tonic. He shu wu lost its place in Western awareness because it requires expert preparation, and cases of liver concern arose when people consumed the raw, unprocessed root without guidance. Rather than educating consumers about proper preparation, the Western supplement market simply moved on to easier products. Think of he shu wu as the ultimate rewind button, a plant so powerful it can convince your hair follicles to act 20 years younger if you respect the ancient instructions for using it. Number 18. Ginkgo biloba, the living fossil. When dinosaurs still roamed the earth, ginkgo trees were already ancient. Ginkgo biloba has survived virtually unchanged for over 200 million years, making it the oldest living tree species on the planet. Individual ginkgo trees can live for over 1,000 years. 6 ginkgo trees survived the atomic bombing of Hiroshima in 1945, standing less than a mile from the hypocenter, and they are still alive today. In Chinese medicine, ginkgo has been used for over 5,000 years to enhance memory, improve circulation, and protect the lungs. Buddhist monks planted ginkgo trees in monastery courtyards and considered them symbols of longevity and endurance. Research confirms that ginkgo leaf extract contains 2 primary classes of active compounds: flavonoid glycosides and terpene lactones, including ginkgolides and bilobalide. Clinical studies show that standardized ginkgo extract improves cerebral blood flow, delivering more oxygen and nutrients to the brain. Research demonstrates its effectiveness in slowing cognitive decline in older adults. Ginkgo also exhibits strong antiplatelet activity, improving circulation throughout the entire body, which is essential for skin health, wound healing, and organ vitality. Traditional use involved brewing dried ginkgo leaves into tea. The seeds were roasted and eaten in East Asian cuisine, believed to support lung function and vitality. In Japan, ginkgo leaf motifs appear on family crests and temple decorations, symbolizing resilience. Ginkgo is relatively well known in the supplement world, but most commercial preparations are standardized to only a narrow range of compounds, missing the full spectrum of bioactives found in traditionally prepared whole leaf preparations. Think of ginkgo as the ancient witness that refused to die. 200 million years of evolutionary wisdom flowing through every leaf. Number 19. Centella asiatica extract, the wound whisperer. You already met gotu kola earlier on this list as a traditional herb, but Centella asiatica deserves a second mention here because recent scientific research has unlocked an entirely new dimension of this plant's anti-aging power that goes far beyond its traditional topical uses. In French Polynesia, on remote islands where Western medicine never reached, indigenous healers used a related plant preparation in sacred skincare rituals passed down through generations. They called these preparations monoi, and the plants used in them were considered gifts from the gods. What recent callus culture research has revealed is extraordinary. Scientists studying Centella asiatica callus extracts, essentially plant cells grown in controlled laboratory conditions, discovered a completely distinct chemical profile from the intact plant. These callus-derived extracts demonstrated unique antioxidant compounds not found in the wild-grown plant. Studies on human dermal fibroblast cells show that these extracts protect against UV-induced oxidative stress and promote collagen synthesis through pathways that the traditional herb alone does not activate. This means we've been using Centella asiatica for 3,000 years, and we're still discovering new ways it fights aging. The callus culture research opens the door to sustainable, year-round production of bioactive compounds from a plant that has already proven itself across millennia. Traditional healers applied Centella poultices to wounds, burns, and aging skin. In Madagascar, it was used to treat leprosy. In Southeast Asian folk medicine, it was consumed to sharpen the mind and extend healthy years. The newer callus culture research hasn't reached mainstream awareness because it challenges the assumption that we already understand traditional medicinal plants fully. Admitting that ancient remedies still have secrets to reveal is uncomfortable for an industry that likes to present itself as the final authority. Think of centella as the plant that keeps rewriting its own resume, revealing new qualifications every time science bothers to look closer. Number 20. Jiaogulan, the herb of immortality. And here we are at number 20, the one I saved for last because it represents everything we've talked about today. In the remote mountain provinces of Guizhou and Guangxi in southern China, something unusual caught the attention of government researchers in the 1970s. When China conducted its first nationwide census, demographers noticed that these isolated regions contained an abnormally high concentration of centenarians, people living past 100 in vigorous, active health. Scientists assembled a research team, led by Dr. Jialiu Liu, and they spent over 10 years studying these communities, searching for the common thread. It wasn't genetics, it wasn't exercise, it wasn't a special diet. After years of study, they found only one consistent factor shared among these long-lived villagers. They all drank a daily tea made from the leaves of a wild vine the locals called xiancao, which translates to the herb of immortality. The vine was Gynostema pentaphyllum, known as Jiaogulan. This discovery launched an avalanche of research. Japanese scientists in the late 1970s identified that Jiaogulan contains gypenicides, saponin compounds, remarkably similar to the ginsenicides found in Panax ginseng. But here is what sets Jiaogulan apart. Ginseng contains 28 saponins. Jiaogulan contains over 180. It is, by a wide margin, the most saponin-rich plant ever discovered. Research confirms that Jiaogulan stimulates the body's production of its own endogenous antioxidants, including superoxide dismutase, glutathione peroxidase, and catalase. These internally produced antioxidants are far more potent than anything you can swallow in a vitamin C tablet. In clinical studies, patients given Jiaogulan extract showed increased SOD activity, reduced lipid peroxidation, and improved memory compared to placebo groups. Studies in mouse fibroblasts demonstrate that Jiaogulan extract protects cells against ultraviolet C-induced oxidative stress and extends cell viability, particularly at optimal concentrations. Jiaogulan works as a true adaptogen, meaning it doesn't push the body in one direction. It restores balance. If your blood pressure is too high, Jiaogulan helps lower it. If it's too low, it helps raise it. If your immune system is overactive, it calms it down. If it's sluggish, it stimulates it. This bidirectional regulation is the hallmark of the most powerful adaptogens, and Jiaogulan does it better than nearly any other plant known to science. Traditional use was beautifully simple. The villagers picked fresh leaves from the vine, steeped them in hot water, and drank the tea throughout the day. No pills, no extracts, no complicated protocols. Just a daily cup of tea from a plant that grew wild on the hillsides around their homes. Jiaogulan remained unknown to the outside world for centuries, because it grew in isolated mountainous terrain far from trade routes. It wasn't included in the classical Chinese materia medica until relatively recently, and once it was studied, the findings were so remarkable that many Western researchers assumed they must be exaggerated. They weren't. The centenarians were real. The biochemistry is real. And Jiaogulan remains one of the most quietly powerful longevity substances ever discovered. This is what this entire list has been about. The answers to aging aren't locked behind laboratory doors or buried in pharmaceutical patents. They are growing in the wild. They have been growing there for thousands of years. And the only thing standing between you and these plants is the willingness to look past what the mainstream is selling you and reach for what nature has been offering all along. Think of Jiaogulan as the final proof that the garden path has always been the right path. A plant so powerful it turned entire villages into communities of centenarians, and all they had to do was drink the tea. If this opened your eyes, smash that like button. Drop a comment and tell me, are you Team Golden Root, Team Herb of Immortality, or Team Black-Haired Mr. He? Subscribe to The Garden Path, hit the bell so you never miss a video, and remember, the most powerful pharmacy on earth doesn't have a cash register. It has roots.